Just before we start, guys, I want to tell you that if this video gets removed without any explanation, then you should know it was by Hyra, who tries to hide the truth, so make sure you share this video before it gets deleted. So what's up, guys? Today is a topic which I really didn't want to bring on my video again, but I have to, since Hyra made yesterday a community post which I just have to respond because he mentioned me, he mentioned some other guys, which I don't really feel it was a truthful post with a really good explanation. You can see it on your screens right now and read it by yourself if you haven't seen it yesterday. So basically the point I'm making is that not very cool mentioning my name after so many things I did with him, and I'm okay with the other guys. I mean, it's their problem with the Hira and he's with them. So I'll speak mostly about myself, but further in this video I will talk also about the situations which I think he was totally wrong. Although, guys, I don't want you to insult him or to threaten him, you know. So it's just a problem between me, him, and probably some other guys. So I don't think there is need to insult him or, you know, doing bad stuff, writing, spamming. He will see certainly this video because of the name. So yeah, the only response I'm waiting for him is either to DM me and call me or a video, because I'm not gonna, you know, argue in the comments just for him to delete the comment as in the previous video. So he basically made no response to the previous video, which I'm pretty disappointed because I said several things which he just had to respond, otherwise he's just a liar. But yeah, he just deleted the previous comment, so we don't really have a response for him. Although, guys, I will bring again the things I've said in the previous video, so you could remember them. Because it's like not cool lying in general and, you know, promise things and talking about being not toxic while you're like using thumbs down all the time and being rude and disrespectful to your teammates. And let's actually start with something different, and it's his comment under my previous video about him, where he said that he could warn my videos where I included his name and gameplay with him. I don't really see how you could make it, since the gameplay is recorded from my screen, since the, you know, I've just mentioned your name in the videos, so I don't really, first of all, see a way you can do it. Second of all, I mean, don't you think it's really stupid to making a whole point that you can like warn to my video, you know, just trying to, I don't know, trying to warn me with some low-key attacks on my videos instead of answering the real questions I had to you in my previous video. For example, about hypocrisy, that you're on YouTube, you're against like spinning, against toxicity and this stuff, while in the game you're like not aware of being toxic to your teammates even without pushing and this stuff. And yeah, I don't really see a valid point on this topic when you're like saying that you hate two-faced people and do exactly the stuff you say you hate in your videos. It absolutely doesn't make sense, and I don't know how you can even respond to that. You just caught up lying. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting you to answer this, but I mean, threaten me with strikes and, you know, being so aggressive while you're wrong, I mean, it's not really right for me. One other thing I want to talk about is this video about Philip, where he literally just took one guy who doesn't really like him and make basically an exposed video where he didn't show any proofs, any evidence. He just showed up one match and insulted him basically. And you know, the funny thing is that he lied in the most of this video. You will ask me probably, why didn't I talk about this earlier? Like, you were two-faced, you were friends with Hyra and with Philip. But I didn't really have, first of all the information I have now, because right now I'm making the investigation to really find the truth. Second of all, Philip didn't really have a problem with him, so I didn't really have an issue with the whole situation. It was between those two people. But since you think Hyra is speaking all the truth. Here is an evidence which really contradicts it. I mean, you can see on the screenshots where Philip with his team, it's more fantasy. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. Playing against Hyra, Linane, and Tweak, which is like, you know, if it's full stacked team, like, I mean, it's basically what Hyra asked for such long time, that he needs like 2 very OP players to start tournaments and this stuff. As you can see, he got what he asked for, but still he lost. So why is he lying about beating Philip without any chances, you know? I don't really, I don't really see an explanation to making this video except of, he ran out of content and just started making random videos, but I mean, okay. But at least don't lie in these videos about other people, because, some of fanboys are, insulting the team without any reason, and it's not cool at all. I would remove, if I was him, this video after publishing it, because straight up so many lies. And I mean, if you need even more proofs, you can, I suppose, write to Philip, to his team. I'll leave his Twitter in the description if you have any questions to them directly. Let's move into the next situation. Next up is a pretty funny one, actually. It's with Irq, if I pronounce it right. Irq is a Polish player with a lot of wins with Mortis. Like pretty much all his 3v3 wins is with Mortis. So yeah, he basically plays only Mortis in ladder, sometimes with randoms, sometimes in team. But he faced several times Hyra, and as I saw, he beat him sometimes, he lost sometimes, which is normal, you know. At some point he started making videos that he was beating Hyra, which is absolutely normal. I don't really see a hate there. I mean, Hyra is a top player, he should expect such videos, because, if you're on the top, you shouldn't be unnoticed. And the main concern for me here is that at some point, Hyra got tired that Irq is winning him too many times, I suppose, and made a video where he exposed Irq that he paid him €300 to delete the video, which is, I don't know who will believe it. Actually, in the first part, not in the first part, but in the previous video I made about Hyra, I said that it will be very childish from him that if this happens to be a lie. And basically it is, because I don't really see Hyra answering to this, so I suppose he lied there as well, because everything unanswered is like, I don't have real evidence to trust him, while other guys like me, like Philip, like some other guys which I'll bring up into this topic after, are straight up telling me that he's not really doing pretty well with, in terms of lying, in terms of not being toxic and all this stuff, which on YouTube he trying to be, a good guy, but he really isn't. Actually, in the post, along with Irq, he mentioned Pika as well. While Pika, I don't know, like, why would you mess with Pika when he's from NA? He's just making casual videos where he beat you like once or twice. I mean, you're playing with delay against American player, why would you overreact so much? Like, if you know you're better, why would you make so many videos about it and discuss things which are pointless to discuss, unless you don't have really anything to talk about? And let's get back actually to his community post, where he said that nobody of us reached top 1 global, and nobody of us really have played with all the brawlers 300 trophies. I mean, it's pretty dumb to state all these things, considering the fact you were friends, let's say, with me all these months, and not knowing I've reached top 1 global not only in ladder but in power league as well, and that we pushed actually a lot of brawlers that you had on 1300. I've also pushed Gale on my own on 1400, as you can see on the screenshot. So I don't know really who is he talking about. I mean, if you're mentioning me on the post, it should be about me as well, so you don't really have the argument it was about Irq and Pika. If you're talking about me, you should talk, honestly, not like taking every argument about every player and putting it to one post and after telling me that it was, I misunderstood it. Anyways, not really a big issue with that, because I don't really have a problem with people not watching all my videos, but the problem was he mentioned me, not that he doesn't remember my achievements. He doesn't have to, but it's still pretty pathetic making out of nowhere such a community post. I don't know why would he even make it. I mean, he won RQ, okay, he's just a good Mortis, I suppose. I mean, I don't know why would he make such drama out of that, considering the fact that he didn't really even make an answer to my video, where he should have responded with so many facts I've told. After so many players being so toxic at the top of the game, many average players, or who start getting into esports, are not willing to play with very good players because they know that they will roast him, even if it's not the fault of the weakest player. I knew one guy which wanted to start esports with me, and he told me like, you know what, I'm happy that you started playing with very good players. You know what, I'm not playing with them, not because I think they're like weak or something, because I know that if we lose, the blame will be totally on me, even though it can be not my blame, it can be theirs, and it can be no one's. It could be in general like the team played bad, but they'll still blame most of the time the top players, I mean the esports players, the weakest player in the team. Some players are less toxic, some players are not toxic, for example like Guille, and who can I also say, I mean Maori I could say as well. And yeah, it's just, it's making the road to the top of the game even harder. Not that it was like easy. What can I say about that? I mean, it just, you either have to be a top player, either like be normal with being like, being blamed all the time, which is not normal, of course. There's no actually, something you can do about it. I'm just letting you know that it's not really good at the top. So if you really want to become a top player, you should first of all suffer most of the times, except you are like friends with a lot of guys, which is pretty rare. While I was recording this video, guys, I've got another one interesting story about Hyra and his push. Basically, it was a room with Python and Black Sea. Hira, as you can see, asked to join the room because there are two people and he needed a room to push. And as you can see from the screenshots, like he asked to go higher on trophies, but Python didn't want to, because on the higher trophies their matchmaking lasts much longer. It can last up to like 7 minutes at rank 35 plus. So there is no really point waiting for a game where you can play at 900 and you just want to chill, and don't want to try hard. So he basically kicked Hyra because he just didn't fit into the team. And basically after that, Hyra complained to Ian that Ian should kick Python because he's not his slave, I guess. I don't know, which was the whole point of this. I mean, you from one side you wanna everybody to like you, from the other side you're saying like some irrelevant things, some very not egoistic ones, but like if you think you're the king, you cannot act after like then you need everybody. I'm actually pretty curious, how would you push, for example, 100k? I know you have a lot of esports friends, but if you're gonna continue the same, like many players who are like at tier 2 or tier 3 who are very good at ladder, you can win with them, like 95% of the matches aren't with you. And many people after this video actually will also know the real side of pushing and the lies you've told. So I'm pretty curious with who would you push 100k, considering you wanted to push it this summer. So yeah, I'm pretty curious to see what will happen. Also, I have to mention that I didn't bring up on the subject a lot of people who wanted to stay silent, who were previous teammates with him, who had interactions with him, just didn't want to start the drama. I mean, it's their choice, I absolutely respect them, so I didn't even want to mention their names, because, privacy is a good thing. You don't want to get into pointless dramas at, at something you you were good and after like bringing such fame to your name isn't really a good thing. So I absolutely respect these players, and I respect their opinion. But I'm really curious how many other people who didn't even spoke to me have similar situation. If you had that me on Discord or on Twitter, for example, you can write me your story, so I have more evidence, or more context of what other things that happened. I don't really see a solution in this situation except of admitting all the things he did, and and apologizing to the people he hurt or for the things he done. I don't think like 99% he won't do anything. Like, I mean, he will give some toxic response in the comments probably, which I don't really appreciate. So I'm just the goal of this video is to raise awareness for the people who are just meeting Hyra, who didn't know the whole story. And also, if you think like that I'll be hated a lot, like, don't worry about me. These are the stats from the previous video about the dislike and like ratio, which you can see it's above 98%, which is pretty cool. That means that 98% of people agreed with my opinion, and most of them even wrote a comment. As you can see, there are more than 1.4k comments, which is an insane amount for a channel like mine. I hope there is a solution to whole situation, but I don't really think realistically something will happen. The main concern was him bringing my name. That was the main response and the main goal of this video. Also, I wouldn't make this video because, as you can see, the previous one was more than 10 days ago. The expose, let's say, the previous part. I didn't really have a goal to bring him on the table because, I mean, even if you see my most popular videos, like the top 3 are without his name. So, I mean, in the start, sure, I played with him a lot because I needed to get some, people to recognize me for my skills. So I've posted a lot, but now I really stopped while, learning who he really is as a person, at least in the game and in the videos he publish. Thanks guys to all who support me during this certainly not an easy period, during all these beefs and stuff, writing positive comments. Some of them are even donators who I really appreciate. Here's the names of my sponsors, which I really want to thank. So I don't really have a goal to make another part of it, because even if Hyra responds, I don't really want to make another part because, just no point beefing over the things over and over again. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you shared it once again, because it might get deleted pretty soon, considering the fact that Hyra pretty much every time, as you can see, trying to hide the truth instead of answering it like a man. So yeah, that was it. See you tomorrow.